What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel where I help young professionals master their money so they can live their best life. I'm sure you've seen the recent headlines indicating that the UK is in a recession. In today's video, I'm going to explain what exactly that means and also share with you some strategies how you can manage your finances during a recession. Let's get started. First off, what exactly is a recession? A recession, by definition, is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP, gross domestic product. A negative GDP means a loss of value of goods and services. Why does it matter if there's a recession? If there's a recession, it means that the economy isn't doing very well, usually leading to job losses, governments cutting spending on things like benefits, public welfare, public services, all things that affects people's financial situation. As of official figures on August 12th, the UK is in a recession for the first time in 11 years. Let's take a look at this chart. We can see that the UK GDP fell by 2.2% in the first quarter, January to March, followed by a record fall of 20.4% in the second quarter, April to June. This is the largest fall of GDP on record since records began in 1955. You can see here on the table that the 20% fall is by far the worst drop ever recorded. Now, it's important to understand that the data is delayed, which means that only the Q2 data from April to June has been released. Since then, lockdown restrictions have begun to ease and people are returning to shops and restaurants, things like that. So we'll likely see things beginning to pick back up. Now, having said that, getting back from a 20% fall is a big task, so expect tough times ahead. The International Monetary Fund published a report in June predicting that there will be a total drop of GDP of 10.2% here in the UK in 2020. Now, the UK is not the only country going through this, not by a long shot. France has showed a 13.8% decline, Germany saw a 10.1% decline, and the USA saw a 32.9% drop in Q2 GDP. So what does all of this mean for your finances? And what are some strategies that you can deploy to help you manage your finances through a recession? Before we begin, I'd just like to say that recessions do not impact everyone equally. There are some sectors which have been unaffected by this, while others are taking advantage of this and booming. To give you an example, Ocado has seen a massive spike in demand for food delivery, as have many other grocery delivery services. It's important to keep this in mind as I share my strategies, as everyone will be in a different financial situation. Strategy number 1, stay liquid. This means keep cash, the most liquid product out there, readily available. You should have anywhere from 6 to 12 months of expenses saved up in cash to weather life's unexpected situations, like losing your job in a recession. An emergency fund will help you stay afloat as you look for your next job. If you don't have an emergency fund, do not panic. There's never been a better time to start than right now. Look at different areas you can save and start putting that cash away. This leads me perfectly into the next strategy: review and trim your budget. Take a look at your expenses over the last 3 to 6 months and look for ways to reduce spending in areas you do not need. Now, this will look different for everyone. If you are very cash poor, you might need to look to make large reductions to your budget, like consider downsizing your living situation or selling your car. Others might find savings in areas like canceling your subscriptions, eating out less, or biking instead of public transport. There are varying levels of degrees of cuts depending on your need to save cash. Keep in mind that the changes to your budget have an impact on your local community. If you are one of the people who's in a very stable sector, you have a very secure job, and you have access to your emergency fund, think before you reduce things in your budget. Consider how reducing spending on eating out or beauty services will impact your community. It'll just prolong the recession. If you can afford to keep supporting your local restaurant or keep your cleaning lady, for example, I'd encourage you to consider this, as it will help speed up the recovery of the economy. Now, I'm not encouraging you to go on a massive spending spree. What I am saying is don't excessively cut your budget if you just don't need to do it. Strategy number 3 is look for multiple income streams. Having multiple income streams creates a solid sense of security. This may be a good time to see if you can monetize some of your skills into a side hustle. The money from your side hustle can be used to build your emergency fund. As I said before, a recession does not affect everyone equally. There are sectors out there which are doing really well, and lots of online companies who are offering part-time and even full-time employment. Strategy number 4 is stop aggressively paying down your debt. This may seem counterintuitive, but in a recession, cash is king, and it's more important to build up your cash reserves than to make that additional mortgage payment. If you are currently focused on trying to reduce your debt as quickly as possible and not putting money towards an emergency fund, you may want to reconsider. Shaving off a year of your mortgage payment isn't going to be helpful if you lose your job and don't have enough cash on hand to pay for day-to-day expenses or your next mortgage payment. Depending on your monetary situation, you may also need to reevaluate the priority of your debt repayment plan. If you can't afford to make a debt payment on all your debts, consider paying down the one with the highest interest rate and make the minimum payment on the remainder of them while you weather the storm. Strategy number 5 is don't stop investing. If you currently have an investment account, the worst thing you can do is sell when there's a market fall. You will be losing a lot of money. Instead, just wait it out. The market will recover when the economy does. And if you are in that lucky category, you have a stable job, you're not likely to lose it, you've built up an emergency fund, and you still have cash left over at the end of the month to invest, look at the recession as an opportunity. You have the ability to buy the market at a discount. And finally, strategy number 6, update your resume. Update your resume as well as your LinkedIn profile. It's important to have this ready to go in case you do unfortunately lose your job. Then you can hit the ground running. As I've mentioned before, recessions do not impact every sector equally. There will be opportunities out there for you. Now, there was quite a bit that we went through in this video, but I hope you found the information useful. Let me know how you are handling the recession financially and pop any questions into the comments section below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel, and ring that bell so you don't miss out on any future content. I'm dropping videos every Wednesday and you don't want to miss a thing. I will see you in the next video.